Well, hello everyone. Happy Smoky Friday. It is Nicole Liberty with Cowgirls and Spurs. Welcome aboard. How are you? It's Friday, and this is the Craftathon weekend. Woo woo! I am so excited. So, if you guys have not signed up for the Craftathon yet, you still have time. Go to fallcraftathon.com. Get yourself registered to see all of the presenters. I think there's like 54 over 2 days. I'm on Sunday at 10:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:20 Central Standard Time, no, 12:20 Central Standard Time, gotta get all these right, and 1:20 Eastern Standard Time. So as you pop on, say hi, I'm well, everything is good, we didn't have to evacuate, thank the Lord, and our animals are good. It is just super smoky. We're all okay. Wowza. Just wowza. What a stressful day. I'm a little unrefined today. Zero makeup. I'm exhausted, but I'm getting her done. So, we're good. All is well. Let's do a fun project today, shall we? Let's get into the whimsical kind of theme of this Craftathon. I'm so excited. Tomorrow's my husband's 60th birthday. Happy birthday, honey. So we're going to the lake. So I'm trying to get everything done. So tomorrow is all about him. And watching the crafters, of course. And so let's do something fun today. You know me, I like whimsy. I like vintage inspired whimsy. I love to make it fun, make it cute. I'm less spooky than I am cute. I love cute. Less spooky. But let's have some fun making a spooktacular craft today. Hello, Lisa. Hi, Brenda. Who else is here for me? Deborah's here and Brenda's here. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love it. Okay, so there's pumpkins everywhere. There's pumpkins everywhere. They're cheap, they're easy to find. You can get them at the dollar store, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at Joann Fabrics. You can get them anywhere. How much you spend depends on where you go. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, so I've got a cheap one. I think I've had it for years. I don't even know. It's one of those cheap little plastic styrofoam pumpkins. But of course, I had to Nicole it. So I rusted it very haphazardly. Hey, Betty, how are you, Cynthia? Yeah, looking good, guys. Hi, Diane. So this is just a cheapo one that I took some rust spray and just kind of zipped it a little bit, okay? Just to make it less plasticky looking. That's what we're going to be working with. But first, we're going to pop off the little knob on the end, the little stemmy thing. And I'm just going to slowly start to work it. I think it's pretty glued on there. I don't want to take my pumpkin completely apart, but just work it a little bit to get rid of the stem, okay? And we'll repair that before we modify it, but all I did was pull off the stem. We want more stem, less plastic. How about that? I am good, everybody. Hi, Karen. Yes, I'm good. So I threw that away. Let's set our pumpkin aside, okay? Let's do something fun first. So I am still using my adorable little wooden package tags. You can get these in a package. I'm just gonna keep on going. Hi, Bev, until I don't have any left. So let's have some fun doing that. So what you're gonna need to start this with, I'm using some puffy paint. It's the easiest way to draw letters. Just a quick tip, I'm using black puffy paint. I also have my favorite holiday pumpkin orange, which is Apple Barrel Mango. I love that orange. I just love it. And then I have some copper glitter, kind of pumpkin-y, right? And then I also have just nutmeg brown, Apple Barrel nutmeg brown. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I have some white paper right here, and I'm going to put my little tag on here, just like that. And I'm going to grab a paper towel, because you know how I love to use my paper towels. And I'm going to just pop a little color on here. So let's do a little bit of orange. And let's do a little bit of the brown. Whoop! That's a lot of brown. You only need a little bit of brown. Okay? And I'm going to start with my orange and my paper towel. And I'm just going to stain my wood. Super easy. Get your edges. You know what else this does? It dries it at the same time that you're painting it, which is super cool. Okay? Hello, Beverly. Hope your trip is going well. Okay, Beverly's on a trip. I love it. I hope you're safe and well. So we are just kind of doing this little stain, okay? And I'm gonna turn it over and repeat the process on the back. Just like that. Super easy. So far, no paintbrushes involved. We will need a paintbrush in a little bit, but not right now. So look at that. It gave you kind of a vintagey look to it. Now just drop your paper towel in a little bit of brown. Just like that. And let's antique the edges. Just a little bit, drying it, kind of a dry brushing, just adding a little bit to the edges. Go over the top of it a little bit, just kind of create an antiquing. Just like that. See how that just kind of brought in some grunge. And I am going to do the back, just in case you can kind of see the back. The other thing is, if you mess up on your lettering, flip it over. And you've got another side. You don't really need to worry about it. Okay? So there's our grunge. And grunge. How easy was that? Okay, I'm going to throw that piece of paper away, and we're going to start with a new one. Okay, bring in your Mod Podge. Mod Podge. I always say the hardest thing, Mod Podge. I always go both with it. I merge the words, I create new words. You know what I'm talking about. We're just going to glue it a little bit on the side that I like the best, and I think I like this side, so we're going to give it a coat. Just a wee coat. Just a little bit over the top. You don't need to do your edges. You just need to go over the top. Okay? Let me get my glue out of the way so you can see. Set that aside and bring in your glitter. Open your glitter first. You need to open the glitter. I'm sassy today, guys. I am traumatized from yesterday. I gotta say, my adrenaline was rushing like crazy. My husband came home. He finally got home. Let's sprinkle with a little bit of glitter. Just a little bit. You don't want to go crazy. It's more like a pop than a complete glitter session. Okay? Just a little bit to give it some texture. He finally got home and he's like, girl, you look like you need a nap. And I thought, I do need a nap, honey. I really need a nap. Okay, so one of the tips that I like to tell people, and I don't often think of doing this, and I'm sure you all know it, is if you use just a regular piece of printer paper and you really want to salvage some of your materials, you can take whatever's left of the glitter and just kind of tap it back into your bottle. If you're frugal like me, it's important. You want to save every little glitter you can. Now you can't save all of them. As you can see, some of them spread. So I just pop them in the garbage can and call it. All right. Next. Hello, everybody. Let's see what you guys are doing. Okay. Everyone's having fun. So bring in your puffy paint. And we're doing this first so we could set it aside so it doesn't smudge. Now, if you're not very good at drawing on letters, I suggest the puffy paint is your best friend. Now, you don't always have to use it as a puffy paint, but what it does do is it allows you to create some fun letters. And so what I'm going to do is start it on my paper so I can feel the squeeze, and then I'm just going to create some letters here. And I'm going to make them fairly thick. So it just kind of looks cute. And I'm going to write the word boo, kind of dragging my paint around to create letters. Okay? Oh, I want it a little thicker up here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. Now there's two things you can do. Can you see that? It's backwards for you because I have an Android. Uh-oh, I think the dog got loose and I might get a visitor from my giant Malamute. We'll see. I can hear my husband. You can blow dry it. You can, hi Donna. Elsie's here, hello. So you can do the heat gun on it. Just make sure you're far enough away to kind of give it a little bit of a head start. You can set it aside for an hour if you have time to kind of let it dry. I do encourage you to do this step first. Get it out of the way and set it aside. But because we're doing this on a live video, and I don't want to have 3 hours on the video for you guys, boo! I'm just gonna get it started before I set it aside. So we're just gonna apply a little bit of heat so that if I accidentally bump it while I'm assembling, I'm not gonna ruin my lettering, and then that would destroy my joy, and then it would be over. So let's just prep for success. Okay. We'll come back and dry it a little bit more, but honestly, it's just sweet and cute, and it just says a little bit of boo. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside right here for it to dry, and then I'm going to get my papers out of the way, and we're going to play. So let's bring in our pumpkin. Clean up, clean up, clean up. Okay, so I have my scrap plastic that I folded over. I like to use these things as many times as I can before I have to throw them out. We did this on another project, so I just folded it over, and we're going to use it if I need it. I don't know if I'm going to need it yet. So I have a couple. This is going to be a project that I want to have probably right outside my front door over my awning. And so I'm going to try and make it as weather friendly as possible. Now, snowstorms, rainstorms, not a good idea. I'll tell you that right now. But we're not planning on seeing any kind of wet weather for a couple months, in my guess, with looking at what's going on outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and prep it as if I'm going to put it on my porch and it's going to work out. You'll need two colors. You'll need black and you'll need white. I'm getting a little sticky. Where did my paper? Oh, I already used my paper towel. Hold on just a quick second. Let me get another one to wipe my fingers. You can tell I'm kind of discombobulated because I don't have my apron on. Totally forgot. Okay, and I'm going to use, depending on the kind of painter you are, I really like to use flat brushes when I'm not doing extensive detail. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Hi, Linda. Jackie, hello. And then I also have my Valspar white. Now, again, I can see boo. I love it. This is a kid-friendly project, you guys. This is way kid-friendly. All right, so let's start with our white. Just adding a little bit of my Valspar white. And when I'm doing this, I'm going to stick with two of the raised kind of bulbs. The fire is 10% contained, but they have a retardant. So there's two fires up here. One's in Calaveras County. One is right in downtown Sonora, where I live. I don't live in downtown, but I live in Sonora. So that one was the scary one. That one got close. But because they're battling the Irola fire in Calaveras County, all the tankers were and all the equipment were already up here battling the neighbor county fire. So we lucked out because everybody I've talked to that's in CAL FIRE and in PG&E shutting down power lines said that the town literally probably would have burned down had we not had those resources. That's how fast this fire took off. But they contained it at 81 acres in a retardant circle, and now they're trying to put it out today. So it's really smoky. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So we're going to paint on one of these little bulbs here and one of these little bulbs here, okay? It's going to be super simple. If you're intimidated by being a painter, this is not the time to be intimidated because there's nothing intimidating about it. You can hand this to a 2-year-old and they should be able to pop out this little project, no problem with the paint. So let me show you how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it upside down so you can see. Let me see where I want to go here. I think I'm going to go on these. Literally, all you're going to do is kind of drag your paint into a nice circle. Okay? Just like that. And fill it in. Now, I did this upside down, so you can see how simple this is. Just kind of fill it in so it's nice and solid. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. I am going to turn it around for the second one just because that was pretty interesting. And just try and make it similar in size. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to make it where you're going back and forth and getting upset with yourself because they're not the same. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But we're going to do 2 coats of the white. Okay? Boom. There you go. Put your brush down. Let's dry it a little bit so I can do another coat. Don't get too close because your styrofoam pumpkin will melt. And we don't want that. We want it to stay fresh. So I'm just going to dry it enough so that when I come back in with my second coat, the second coat will stick to the first coat without smearing and creating streaks. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I want you to kind of see, it's not perfect. See that? It's very kind of wonky a little bit, and that's okay. That's what makes primitive crafting. And so I'm just using the same paint that is on my brush already to just kind of utilize what I have, and then I added a little bit more for this one. I just want a solid coverage. Make sure there's no globs. Okay, there you go, just like that. Just a little bit more of a solid coverage. Don't put your white away yet. Dry it a little bit. I'm gonna grab a second flat brush. Whoop. I'm gonna drop a bunch of stuff on the way. So I'm so excited. I have a fun project for the Craftathon on my presentation on Sunday. If you missed the first part of this video, I told you guys you still have time. Go to fallcraftathon.com, sign up, it's free. You get prizes. I donated prizes. I actually donated a La Liberty bow block. So the winner of my prize is going to get a La Liberty bow block that I've made for them. And I think there's like 54 presenters, and I'm on Sunday, and of course I'm doing something fun and whimsical. So you can go onto my website into free downloads to get the supply list and try and guess what I'm going to make. And then if you need the template, just send me an email through my contact on the cowgirlsandspurs.com and I'll get you a template. I'm so excited. Okay, bring in your black. Bring in your black. Now you're going to want to dab this one a little bit because you're coming within another color. And we're going to just make a really small circle right kind of in the middle, but maybe not so much in the middle. To make a little eyeball, you're making the little center of the eyeball. Now this flat brush may have been a little too big for me, so really make sure that you're using a brush that you like and that you can get a nice little circle in there, especially if you're doing this with the little kiddos. It makes it a little easier for them. So I'm actually going to just switch to a different brush so I can show you. Let me see which one I want to use. I'm going to bring in a little bit of a thinner one. Let's sprinkle the love. Share the blessings, guys. Spread those blessings along. We want everybody to have a joyful life through creativity. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got some eyeballs. Got some cute little eyeballs. I'm going to go ahead and wash my brush. Get all the black off of it. Because I'm going to come back in with the white, but let me dry it first. Now my glue gun is hot and ready for the next step, so make sure you have the glue gun. I'm hoping I'm not freezing up. I'm on my cell phone data, but again, we've got smoky weather, so if I am freezing up, go back out and come back in. Sometimes refreshing the page on your side helps. Okay, so now let's just do a little bit of an accent with the white in the center. So all I'm going to do is just a little bit of white in the center, just to create some detail for my little eyes here, just like that. Okay, all I did was a couple dots to create some dimension. And we're done with our painting. You can put this away. Put your brushes in the water. Set your pumpkin aside for a second while you clean up your paints. You can see I've had these paints for quite some time because they're all starting to get a little crusty on the edge. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my heat tool because I really want my paint to be dry for this next step. So bear with me for just a few seconds while I get this. You're Brenda, I'm freezing on you too. Okay. Sometimes if you pop back in and pop back out, or pop out and pop back in, it helps because I'm not sure why it'd be freezing on my end. All right, so let's play with our stem while we set that aside. So we took off the stem on the pumpkin. I'm going to add the stem back in, and I have a fun little stick here that's a little bit taller so that I can embellish it a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of play around embellishing it. I have some scraps of burlap here. I have some fun little scraps of burlap. I have some scrap ribbons from some of the projects that we've been doing. And I have some, you know, just string scraps. Okay, so some are freezing, some are not. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I'll just kind of recommend that you pop back out and pop back in. Sometimes that corrects it. Sometimes it doesn't. But I am going to, and I also have wire jute. Okay, this is jute, and it's able to shape a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do with my stem is I'm going to bring in a little bit of my scrap, and I'm just going to start wrapping it. I have found that when I'm adding new stems as opposed to just using the stems that are on hand, it's just easier for the stem itself and the integrity to stay put if you kind of embellish it ahead of time and then add it to your project. So I'm just going to wrap a little bit with some of my burlap. I'm going to start by wrapping, and I'm going to leave these little strands coming out so that it just kind of creates some character, adding just a little bit of glue right on the edge as I kind of wrap my burlap around, just leaving it to kind of be a little crazy. And I want to have a big little chunk kind of sticking out, so I'm just going to finish it like that. Does that make sense? And we're starting to get some bad weather. Yeah, there's some weird weather going on in this world right now. And so I'm going to continue to do the same thing, kind of wrapping some texture on there. I'm going to be using this black ribbon. And I'm just going to kind of do the same process where I kind of create a little bit of a strip of glue, just like that, before I add my ribbon, and then just do a little wrapping. And these are scraps. I wanted it to be kind of scrappy, so I'm just leaving it to be a little whimsy. And I'm going to trim them afterwards depending on how I want to do it. Okay? Now I'm going to come in with my jute. I'm going to unwrap it a little bit because I want to show you how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to try and focus a little bit towards the bottom of my stick. Coming in clear in Georgia. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more glue, but not a lot because I'm not going to go all the way up. So literally, it's about an inch of glue right there. And I'm going to start my jute with a big tail. Okay, and you got to hold on to it. And I'm going to wrap it once with my tail around the glue and leave the tail. And then I'm going to come back in, I'm holding it with my thumb, and I'm going to start wrapping it on itself so that I cover up all the glue. Okay, can you see how I'm kind of doing that? I'm trying to hold it up at the camera so you can see. And I'm just kind of overlapping it a little bit, twisting it over on itself a little bit so that it stays put. And I'm going to hold it while the glue dries. With my wire cutters, I'm going to cut another tail. Strong like bull. All right, so I've got two tails. Does that make sense to you? And then what we're going to do, as soon as I know that it's kind of pulled tight and the glue is sticking, I love it. That's what you've got so far. Take your finger and wrap your jute around your finger a little bit. Not so tight that you can't pull your finger out. Okay? And we're going to create these little wisps of curly cues. You repeat the process over here. Just take your finger, loosely wrap it with your jute wire, pull your finger out, and then you have another cute little whimsical thing there. Okay? Now I'm going to trim this black ribbon because it's a little too much for me. I don't want it to be out that far. Okay? But I do want to kind of shred it a little bit if I can. So I'm going to kind of pull on it, make it a little wonky, just like that, so it's got a little bit of a flare. Okay? With me so far? Wonderful. Let's set that aside. Let me get my scraps out of the way because I'm going to add another one when we're done, but I need to get everything out of the way. Put my tools away, put my wire cutters away because we're going to come back to it possibly. Now this is where the fun begins, and I'm so excited about this. Now I strip cut a bunch of muslin, and I'm kind of just really scrunching it together. We're not freezing in Arkansas. Okie doke. Hi, Rachel. Thanks, Karen. So these aren't long pieces of muslin, and they've got strings attached to them. I'm going to kind of keep as many of the strings as possible. But we're gonna have some fun here. And the first thing we're gonna do is focus on the face, because once we got the face going, everything else is just gonna, hi Tia. Oh, she's saying hi, my mom is here too. So I've got my muslin here, kind of wanna pull on it, scrunch it a little bit. The first thing we're gonna do is come across the front of our eye. So I'm gonna start with all my ribbons right before the hole here so that I can kind of enclose it and cover all my beginning strips under the pumpkin stick when we are finished. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue. My glue is set to high temp to get a firm hold. That's what I'm talking about right there, okay? And now we're just gonna come. Freezing in Louisiana, waiting on a hurricane. Okay, well that makes sense. Hello, Judy. You guys be safe. Everybody in New Orleans area and on the southern states, this hurricane looks like it's going to be a bigger one. So please be safe. So I'm just going to start kind of going between their eyes because I want to make sure my muslin sticks in between their eyes. And I'm going to start mummifying my pumpkin. Okay, and tacking my glue where I can. And just keep wrapping. And I tack as I go. I'm going to tack on the bottom. Use your judgment on the best places to tack. It's not a science. It's more like a just secure your ribbon for now. Okay, and I'm just going to keep going kind of in a zigzag crisscross pattern. And overlapping a little bit here and there over the ribbon before. Okay? This is a fun little project, so just take your time with it. And you don't want it to be perfect. You just want to get it going. Okay? So I'm going to take another little strip here. This one's a little shorter. Add another little tag here and here. So I'm just going to keep going. You guys get the idea, so I'm just going to kind of keep going. I'm going to come back down through the eyes, tacking him a little bit in the center. Okay, and I'm just going to keep on going. My husband was there was a lot of things to be upset about yesterday, but you know, he's turning 60. It's a big birthday. And he's like, no, I'm not going to celebrate my birthday because of the fire, because we were going up to the lake with some friends and we were going to have a whole barbecue. Yeah, he was a little bummed. Okay, I'm pulling some of the strings off, but not all the strings, because I want it to look shredded. And I'm just going to keep going. Just going to keep going. I'm going to switch directions. I'm just going to tack it, tack it, tack it until I can't tack it anymore. I'm going to go right across the forehead, kind of bring it down a little bit. Oops, I stuck my finger in the glue. That hurt. Crafter's tragedies right there. That is a hazard on the workplace. So I would have had this kind of pre-done for you so you don't have to sit here and watch me zigzag all the way. But this was the only pumpkin I was willing to sacrifice for this project because I have so many other crafts in mind for you that I really had this one. So we're just going to go through it together, shall we? Okay, and I'm just going to add a little on top and overlap this one. And keep on going. Now, your preference is, if you wanted to keep it simple and you don't want to do a lot of wrapping, don't do a lot of wrapping. If you want to go crazy like I'm doing and you want a lot of wrapping, then just keep wrapping them until you feel like you're done. This is a joyful craft, and it's also such a wonderful opportunity for spend time if you have kids, grandkids. It's a great opportunity for you to have a really fun and extensive craft to do with them. I know my daughter wants to do more of these for her room. She loves decorating her room for the holidays. She just loves it. And so we always, when I go shopping for supplies, she's got a cart just as full with her little supplies. She's 14. She loves this stuff. She absolutely loves this stuff. Okay, so you can see how he's coming along super cute. So I'm just going to keep going until we get to the point. I think I can do maybe 2 more strips, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Okay. Okay. I don't do simple crafts, do I? I really get you guys going and keep you active for an hour at least. At least. Joyful crafting, that's what we do. You can see how quickly and easily it goes too. Okay. Okay. So, we can keep wrapping, and I'm going to keep wrapping, but I want to get you going on the net. Well, you know what? I need to do a couple more strips because we're going to end up sealing this so I can show you how to seal it, and I want you to be able to complete that on this video and have a complete instruction. So just bear with me, maybe a minute or 2 of continuing my muslin strips, and then we'll move on to the next process, because the next process is going to be the fun one, and then we'll do our finishing touches so that we have a nice and sealed project. So I'm imagining a little mummy here and what that mummy would look like as I continue to wrap. So I found out yesterday, and I feel so incredibly blessed for this, that my neighbor, she's a wonderful gal. She used to be a firefighter. So she was a firefighter for 6 years in these mountains. And I called her to see if she was home and she was, you know, gonna evacuate and what we needed to do, because honestly, girls, I'm a city girl. I've been a country girl in my heart my whole life, but I was born and raised in a city. And so I don't have experience with evacuations, let alone getting 47 animals off property in a matter of minutes. I'm sort of ready, but we just moved into this house in November and we've been just hit with weather upon weather. And I gotta tell you, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all. And it was really an eye-opener to how unready I was. And so she came over and we were talking through the fence. You know, she's got 5 acres, I've got 5 acres. So when I say talking through the fence, we were out in the middle of a field having a conversation through a fence. And, you know, she was very reassuring and telling me, she educated me on the way the smoke looks and what to watch out for. And it was really helpful because it kept me calm, because I was freaking out. I gotta tell you, I was freaking out. You guys, I climbed up on my roof. Me, I'm little. 5'4", 120, no, actually I gained some weight, so I'm 140 pounds, but I'm really happy about that. But I'm up on my roof, hosing the roof down as the helicopters are going over the top of me, literally right over my house with the water dump buckets that they're getting from the local lake. So that was a little, I don't know, you know, sometimes I just think I'm tougher than I am, and I just climbed up on the roof. There's nobody else here to do it. I'm not going to make my kids get up on the roof and start hosing things down. And I thought it was more dangerous. So look at the strings. I'm leaving strings. I thought it was more dangerous that I drug the ladder around as I'm getting wet from the hose and tried to climb up and down the ladder than I did. And I didn't tell my mom that. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching still. Oops. Yeah, your daughter was on top of the roof. And I don't know. I don't know. Things make me, you know, fire evacuations make people crazy. We were talking about different stories about how some people start packing up their essentials and they'll walk out. My girlfriend's like, some people will walk out with a spatula, but then they forget all their legal documents. And I thought, oh my gosh, I forgot my legal documents. I was that girl. Anyway, hilarious. Okay, so there you go. Isn't he cute? Now you can go crazy and add some more, but we're gonna move on right now. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is we're going to add our little stem here. Okay, so we're just gonna start popping in our little stem, and I wanna make sure that I've got a lot of glue in there. And you remember that the styrofoam is exposed, so I'm gonna really make sure that I get glue around the edges, and I'm gonna kind of smear it in a little bit so that when I push in my stem, I'm really getting the area around it and creating a globule, okay? And we're gonna fix that globule, so I don't want you to worry about the globule, but it's more important that you have the globule. Let me just kind of show you how, I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's a lot of glue globbed in there, and I'm just gonna keep holding it until it dries a little bit. Okay. Now, as you're holding it, if you find it's popping up like I'm doing right now, I'm just gonna add a little bit more glue in there. Now I'm gonna take the end of my decoupage brush and just start pressing in the fabrics. Don't use your fingers because this will hurt you, and I don't want you to get hurt. And certainly don't use, let your kiddos get in there. You can use a pencil to kind of just push everything in there until it feels mostly solid. It's like on The Princess Bride. Your friend is only mostly dead. You only want it to be mostly dry, just so it's nice and firm. And so what I'm going to do as soon as I've got some firmness here is pull your little corkscrew jute wire loose up a little bit so you can get in here. And I'm going to start doing this little circular motion with my glue as I go around my pumpkin edge, and I'm tacking down some of the loose fabrics as I go. But then what I'm going to do is, remember I told you I had this little string here, and I also have some jute. You can use both. So I'm going to kind of go around the edge a little bit and tie in around my stem, securing it a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to come in with a little bit more, adding a little bit more glue. And you know, this is aesthetically pleasing as well as it's functional for holding your stem in place. Okay, so just be creative. Nobody needs to know that this is your anchoring. All they need to know is it looks adorable. Okay, and I'm just going to keep fortifying and pressing down. So since I don't have any glue exposed, let me cut this a little bit. I can get in there with my fingers because the glue's not really hot anymore. And then I'm just going to shred this edge a little bit and press in. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit more glue because now I'm going to bring in my cute little ribbon and start wrapping it. Can you start to see that a little bit? All I'm doing is creating some whimsy. Okay, let me bring in some of my black and white, going all the way around the edges. I'm going to leave some strings, and then I'm just going to wrap. Okay, and you can spin your pumpkin to make it a little bit easier as you're pulling tight and squishing. Okay, pull tight and squish. All right? Come around so that you're over here and tack it off. Cheat tools, cheat tools. Get in there and press, and then trim. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to drop my little curlicues down a little bit more. And I'm going to tack just a couple of my strays because I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. Just like that. Just tack them in so nothing's really hanging out. Okay? There you go so far. All right? Me looking cute? All right, so put that guy aside real quick. Let's bring in our little tag. Let me see how my tag's doing. See if I need to dry it a little bit more. Okay, I think he's pretty good. So I have extra of this little string. I'll just show you, I mean, this is literally like, I don't know. Let me even see. It's like 2 centimeters wide. It's 2 centimeters wide. And so I'm gonna fold it in half and very carefully poke it through my tag. You have to use scissors, a little tiny, like a pencil or something. Just get that in there. Pull it through, being careful not to smudge your words if they're still wet, and pull your strings through. Okay, and so you have this cute little end to your tag. Okay, where's his eyeballs? Got to find your eyeballs over here, because you want to make sure this is going to be cute. And I'm going to tie it, I'm just putting it like that, and I'm going to tie it around my stem. Okay, and I'm going to tie it again and use a little bit of knot. And then I'm just going to let my strings dangle. Okay, so that's what I did. I tied it. You have your little boo. It's right on my end, so it says boo the right way. And then I have a little bit of green here. It's not much, not enough to be all weird and crazy, but it's enough to add a little bit of texture to your pumpkin. And so I'm going to just tack it underneath my tag so that I bring in a little bit more whimsy. Okay? And I put a ton of glue there. So you can see here, I'm really getting a ton of glue in there, and I'm going to press my tag down on top of all that glue. And on top of, it's coming through the hole, so it's going to create a little bobbin of a pin cushion there. It'll keep it inside the ribbon, and my little tag won't go anywhere. See how cute that is so far? Okay. All right, let's do some sealing. So bring in your Mod Podge again. I'm all stuck to stuff. I'm all stuck to stuff. All right. So gently dip your Mod Podge into your container like this. And I'm just going to start Mod Podging over my ribboning. Now the reason why I'm doing this at the end is because everything's already secured. It's getting dry as we continue to work. And now I can just, the finished product, I can set it aside and allow it to seal. I know that my ribbon, don't get your ribbons that you decor with, just get the ribbons that are used as his gauzing and his muslin for his mummy wraps. And this will stiffen them up so they stay secure. So I just kind of put things out of the way. I've done this before. I've done this per project before, and I did the Mod Podging before I decorated my pumpkin. And it was a sticky mess because I wasn't patient and I didn't wait until it dried, and it was just a train wreck. So I have just found that if you do all your decorations and then come in and finish them with just a little bit of Mod Podge on the ribbons that you wrapped him with, it just creates a stiffening. The glue dries clear, and everything just kind of stays cute and in place. That, hopefully that is all clear so that you can, you know, get the gist of it. And you don't need to go crazy. And then when it dries, you can do the bottom portion if you want. See, just like that. Just kind of smoothing them out a little bit. Not worried about where it's going to get because, again, it's going to dry clear. Okay, so I'll come back in and finish it a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of show you the effect and how it starts to dry clear. I'm going to drop all my ribbons so that he looks cute. I love my heat tool. And if you don't have a heat tool, use your blow dryer. I just got really tired of needing to blow dry my hair, and the blow dryer's down in my craft room. So I had to buy myself a heat tool. Look at how cute he is. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. I am in love with him. All right, it's starting to dry really nicely. And so when it does, I'm gonna go sit it outside, and all that little glue chunking that you see right there will glow, do you love it? Isn't he cute? I thought he was adorable. I didn't do him, so I've seen them with mouths on him. I just like no mouth. I don't know why. He's a mummy, he's not gonna talk. Why does he need a mouth? So I just love it. I hope you love it. Let me see it. You guys, I got lost in all the comments because it wasn't feeding. It's a mummy pumpkin. So you guys, if you make them, send me some pictures on my VIP group. You got to get in there. I want activity. Let's see some pictures. This is a fun time of year. I want to see what you got. And I hope to see you at the Craftathon this weekend. I am so excited. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and it's time for birthdays. See you soon. Bye.